Hampton, Virginia. A lot of boats made here, a lot of history made here as well. So how do you know you've arrived? Roll down the window, stick your head out, and listen for the sound of the K&N Pro Series racing at Langley. It's a Labor Day special for the race fans in the Virginia area, and they've got a good one today with the K&N Pro Series East. Chase Cabry giving the fist bump and the high five. Dominique Van Wieringen, she is back in the 30 car. And David Calabrese brings the 43 in for a rare appearance. Harrison Burton is a championship leader, though. He'll be here for this one and the next two, trying to lock up his championship run in the East Series. This is the Visit Hampton 150 from Langley Speedway in Hampton, Virginia. Frank, got a little bit of a delay here. Persistent expected rains moved this race from Saturday to Monday, but it's a gorgeous day now to get this thing going.
It absolutely is. Not hardly a cloud in the sky, Dave. Going to be a great action-packed day today. Low
80s and a good crowd on hand to see, as we mentioned, a special on Labor Day. Kind of a racing tradition, and nice to have it brought back thanks to the K&N East Series. You see where it's located in relation to the Richmond Raceway, where the big guys will be going in just a week's time. Here's a championship look. Harrison Burton with 4 points to the good, just 4 over Gilliland.
No question, this is just a two-man race with 3 to go, Dave, but what a heck of a battle we've got for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Ronnie Bassett Jr. has really been creeping back up to try to get 3rd.
Here's Derek Perniciglio.
Dave, Frank, welcome to the Langley Speedway. And it's the first time the NASCAR K&N Pro Series is racing back here since 2015. And for good reason. Last year, the track was shut down. Matter of fact, it was in jeopardy of going under the wrecking ball. But after some heavy negotiations and a difficult real estate deal, owner and operator Bill Mullis was able to acquire the property and bring the track back to his goal of being able to have weekly racing here and, of course, some regional touring series like the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour and, of course, the NASCAR K&N Pro Series here tonight. Now, this will be the first time the NASCAR K&N Pro Series races in the daylight here at the Langley Speedway. They're used to racing in evening hours in the past where the pavement is cooled off. The track is a little bit greasy, as the drivers have said, so two things that they're going to have to worry about this afternoon is the cars getting tight in the center and getting that forward bite up off the corners.
I think this day race is really going to make for a lot of fun, a lot of more action. You know, like as Derek said, when it's cool at night, tires have a lot of grip. Going to be a lot of slip sliding today.
Here you see the winners in 2017. Harrison Burton's name is up there a lot. That's why he's leading the championship. Derek talked about a break. Well, 2 years ago when they raced here, Rico Abreu was on the pole in that white 98, and it was a fun night. Maybe not for Sam Hunt.
No, not for Sam Hunt right there.
Had his car spun around and then got the nose taken off. This is a spin around at the nose of Kaz Grala, and that caught a lot of attention from NASCAR.
Well, Kaz Grala got a little bit of a penalty there.
Imagine that, spinning someone out and getting a penalty for it.
Yeah, Austin Cindric didn't seem to get that in Canada.
In the truck race, that's right. Hey, a lot of action, though, throughout the field, but this guy went to victory lane for the second time on the season. This is William Byron back in his early days. Gosh, he was young back then. Still is. Derek is standing by with today's pole sitter.
Dave, Frank, experience might be the name of the game here today at the Langley Speedway, especially for guys like Ronnie Bassett Jr. and Dylan Bassett, who both finished in the top 15 the last time the series ran here in 2015. Another driver that also finished in the top 15 that year was Colin Cabry. He starts on the outside pole, but a good omen for him is that all the winners except for one have come from the outside pole here at the Langley Speedway. But the driver that's going to start on the pole, who's been real hot as of late, Todd Gilliland in the Napa number 16, and you ran the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race on Sunday. You're here today. Is there anything that you learned from those races you can apply here?
I mean, that was a road course race, so honestly not much here at Langley Speedway, but every time I get in this Napa Auto Parts Toyota Camry, everyone at Bill McNally Racing works super hard on them, and they're always really fast right off the trailer, so no, the show's getting the pole here tonight, and I think we have a really fast piece for the race too.
What's going to be the biggest trick and strategy to figuring out this race tonight so you can win?
Yeah, 150 laps on this worn-out pavement, and with no brake is going to be really tough on us, but you're just going to really have to be smooth on the throttle and just try and not spin the tires as much as you can, while keeping as much track position as possible.
Todd Gilliland sits second in the points right now, just 4 markers away from Harrison Burton.
That actually is a compliment when he's talking about worn-out pavement. The racers do love to come to these racetracks that have worn-out pavement.
Makes for a good show for the fans in the stands and us as well. K&N Pro Series Racing on NBCSN is brought to you by K&N high-flow air filters and air intake systems. Because everyone loves that fast car smell. Welcome back to Langley Speedway in the Visit Hampton, Virginia 150. 150 laps around this, as Todd Gilliland described, worn-out racetrack, but that'll make for some great racing. And there are several drivers who still have a shot at a top 5 finish in the season, Derek.
Well, Dave, our who-to-watch driver will be that white 04 for Ronnie Bassett Jr. The last time the NASCAR K&N Pro Series raced here at the Langley Speedway, he finished 11th back in 2015. He comes here today with a very fast car. They said they were very happy with it. And the interesting note about this car is this race car that they're driving here this weekend, that's the car that was actually in the fire that was in their shop that almost completely burned down last season. They were able to cake the car, completely gut it, raise it from the ashes. They won with it earlier this year at the New Smyrna Speedway. They said it was such a great feeling to take a car that was almost completely destroyed and bring it back to victory lane. They think that they can do the same with it here tonight at the Langley Speedway.
I'm sure it wasn't a great feeling when they saw that thing on fire. But you know, Ronnie Bassett Jr. from 2015 to today, what an improvement. He's really got a lot of track time, a lot of experience, a lot of racetracks, and really runs in the top 5 pretty consistently now, Dave. So I don't see an 11th place finish out for him today.
See where Bassett qualified there on the outside of row number 2. The front row, Todd Gilliland and Colin Cabry. The Bassett brothers, row 2. Then Chase Purdy and championship leader Harrison Burton.
Chase Cabry in row 5 with a Sam Hunt in the outside.
And the rest of the field here, small field here this weekend, Frank. There were a couple of cars that were entered earlier and didn't make it to the Monday call. Again, this race rained out on Saturday, moved to Monday, so just a short field here tonight. Who does that advantage, do you think?
I think an advantage for Todd Gilliland and some of these guys that at the front, just because they're not going to have to fight with quite as much lap traffic, you know, as the day goes on.
Green flag is out at Langley. Gilliland on the gas and takes the 16 to the front in turn 1.
Good jump right there. The Bassett's lined up. Dylan Bassett in the 44 and Ronnie Bassett Jr. in the 04.
Already a little short track tapping there. Dylan Bassett getting into Colin Cabry. Cabry didn't get quite as good a jump as Gilliland to start. And you saw in our race analysis, 150 laps, there will not be a halfway break. These are the tires that they're going to finish the race on unless they have an issue. So, Frank, I'm suspecting there's going to be a little bit of conserving here at the start.
Well, there's an issue right there in turn 2. Chuck Buchanan is around, Dave.
So he's already flat spotted his one set of tires there and get that car righted in turn 2. And there he is.
Well, his crew is certainly hopeful right here that he didn't flat spot the tires, because it's difficult to get NASCAR to allow you to change all 4 tires on a race car.
Briefly under green, already under caution for the spin of the 19. That man on the pole. Todd Gilliland continues to lead the field here at Langley. When we come back, we'll see if Colin Cabry or Dylan Bassett can get by. So glad you could join us for tonight's action at Langley Speedway, the Visit Hampton, Virginia 150. And just underway, we had a caution for a quick spin by Chuck Buchanan. And now the field is back in the hands of Todd Gilliland. Hits the gas and once again has that good jump back to the lead.
And honestly, Dave, you know, we talked about it earlier here. With the tires being a situation where you've got to run all 150 laps on the same set, I don't see, you know, people pressuring him a lot. I think it's going to be interesting to see, you know, Todd Gilliland, whether he decides to set a pace or let somebody else set a pace.
This is not new to the drivers of the K&N Pro Series East or West. A lot of these races are run without the brake now and the one set of tires, and so the beginning complexion of the race often is a lot different than the end when the pay window opens, as they say.
Absolutely, and I should go back and talk about that. I mentioned Chuck Buchanan Jr. when he spun out that NASCAR likely wouldn't let him change tires. If he has a puncture on a tire, so the right front tire was flat or the cords were completely showing on it, they probably would make the adjustment there and say, hey, you can change that one tire, but not likely to be able to change all 4.
Interesting group back here. Calabrese in the 43, Hunt in the 18, and then Dominique Van Wieringen in the 30. Got the call literally last minute when it was decided that Tyler Dipple, who normally drives this car, should race as scheduled in the ARCA race today in DuQuoin, Illinois. And that left the ride open, and a quick phone call to Dominique, who ran this car last year.
Yeah, and what a great call for them, because, you know, they really have struggled a little bit this year. I've been surprised. Tyler Dipple, look at the stats, only one top 5 finish all year long. You remember last year, Dave, really every week we seems like we talked about Dominique. She had one of the fastest cars, didn't get the finishes a lot of times, but was up there really running 1-2, leading a lot of laps last year. Haven't seen that out of the 30 car as a program this year. So I think being able to go back, put last year's driver in, and let them evaluate what they do today. It'll be interesting to see. Is she able to drive through the field, or is she just mediocre today?
Well, it's interesting, too, Mark Rett commenting on the decision to take Tyler to the dirt track in the ARCA series. He said that's where the program's going next year. They don't plan on running this program in the K&N series next year. At least that was a quote that we got from him. And so really focusing on that for next year was part of the deal for Tyler Dipple.
And I think the reason you're seeing that, Dave, is because the costs, what they've done in the ARCA series with the spec engine over there, programs, I've talked to Ken Schrader, they are just absolutely ecstatic with what that's done to the engine costs over there. They've got a spec engine that Ilmore is running. We obviously have spec engines here in the K&N E series as well, but the costs on the ARCA motor have been substantially less for those teams, and so they're able, with the prize money, they're actually able to run that series maybe a little bit more effectively than right now what we've got going on in the K&N East, and I think that NASCAR is certainly working on that.
Here we see Dominique now making her way past a few cars. You saw Jay Beasley get shuffled out there to the back. He'll conserve back there for a little while, gather that 42 car back up. That's Chase Cabrey in the 4. Talk to Chase before qualifying as we see a little bit closer battle for the lead here. Chase didn't have a good afternoon. We'll get back to him as Dylan Bassett seems to want by for the lead.
Yeah, you'd think that was the lap to go.
And he's going to let him by. Gilliland, I think, here conserving big time because Dylan was right on his bumper, and Todd really didn't contest the spot much at all.
No, he didn't contest it at all. This is way too early here. Surprised that Dylan's going up there and putting that much pressure on it and wanting to lead right now, to be honest.
For more on Dylan, let's hear from Derek down in the pits.
So far, it's been a good day for Dylan Bassett in that number 44 car. Started third at the drop of the green. His father, the car owner, Ronnie Bassett Sr., said, just wheel it and drive it today. Dylan said this is the best car that they've had in a long time. They came up here a few weeks ago. They tested. They got the car dialed in. And this is the happiest he's been at a racetrack in a very long time. Dylan Bassett's had a rough year, and a win would definitely turn that season around for him.
Well, I guess if the father says and he's paying the bills to go to the front, we know why Dylan Bassett just went by Todd Gilliland.
Well, and he knows he's got 150 laps on these tires to race tonight. So at this point, I'm sure he's just very comfortable with the race car, and it's making that lap time.
Yeah, but there's just, again, Dave, I mean, yes, comfortable is great, but driving away from Todd Gilliland, who's really dominated a lot of races this year, I just don't know that that's the smartest move right now.
Derek with more on the third place driver, Cabrey.
Colin Cabrey runs in the third position right now, but he started on the outside pole, and that might be a good sign for him. Every single winner, with the exception of one, has come from the outside pole here at the Langley Speedway. And this is a track that Colin likes a lot. He says he doesn't know why he likes this place so much. He just runs good here. He says his preference is more for high bank tracks where he feels more comfortable. But he seems to have good runs here. He likes this track a lot, and that could be the combinations that he needs to be able to park the car in victory lane for the second time in his career.
Well, the one thing about this racetrack, it doesn't have a lot of banking. It's only got 6 degrees in the corner, Dave, but it does have that apron right there. You see the yellow lines down there on the apron? Right now, nobody's using that a whole lot, but as the race goes on, the tires wear out, you can actually move down there and get some grip. And so that makes it to where you can have a little bit of room to move around and make it a little bit more fun than just a regular flat racetrack.
Hey, this is kind of fun. Derek is taking us through the field. Just chimed in. I've got something on the 17 as well. Here's more on Chase Purdy.
Chase Purdy runs in the top 5 right now, started 5th at the drop of the green. This is the car they call Old Faithful, the one that they've had most of their luck with all season long. This is the first time that they've ever run here at the Langley Speedway, but they tested a few weeks ago, and some of the things that Chase figured out is how important track position is here and how to get the car to rotate in the center. He thinks he learned a lot from that test and can use it here tonight for a really strong finish and a possible win. So far, he's the leading candidate for Rookie of the Year in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East.
Well, he doesn't need to learn a whole lot more, Dave, because that young man has 4, I said that right, 4 second-place finishes this year.
I know, it's been unbelievable. And Purdy had a win in sight at South Boston earlier this year, gave it away. So he'd certainly like to get back to victory lane and certainly seems to have the car and the talent to do it. Speaking of car and talent, I'm not concerned at all about the talent of the driver of the 12. I'm wondering about the car tonight. Harrison Burton has not had his typical evening so far.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about the car. I talked to Marty Lindley earlier today. He said they were just going to sit there and conserve their tires. He's on the radio. He's the crew chief for Harrison Burton. He's run here at Langley. His father actually ran here at Langley back in the 80s. So he knows what they need to do at this racetrack to conserve tires. He's going to be on the radio all day long telling Harrison, just settle in and ride.
Here's Dominique working her way from the back of the field to the front. Let's hear more on Justin Carroll. Derek?
Well, local racer Justin Carroll hails from nearby Williamsburg, Virginia, and this is the track that he races at weekly in the late model division. One of those guys that knows the track like the back of his hand, and he has local knowledge here. He's run some extra distance races in the past, like the Hampton Heat 200 a few weeks ago. He said that that race is going to get him conditioned for running the 150 lapper here tonight at the Langley Speedway.
Turn 3, Dave.
So 19 of Chuck Buchanan Jr. is around for the second time tonight. And he'll get that car pointed in the right direction, but caution coming out again. The field will be gathered. The lead has changed. Up front, it's Dylan Bassett. Now what will the field do with him? Beautiful evening in Hampton, Virginia. The Langley Speedway, the site of the 12th of 14 races in the K&N Pro Series East in 2017. And championship on the line as Dylan Bassett in the 44 gets the green. The car to his outside, Todd Gilliland, is trailing in the points to the car just behind him of Harrison Burton, just 4 coming in.
Be interesting right here whether Todd Gilliland can get to the bottom, whether they're going to let him in. Colin Cabry may want to close the door on him. A little early in the race yet.
Getting to the bottom for that preferred line, yes.
Absolutely, but Dylan Bassett used a lot of racetrack right there. He wants to maintain this lead.
Fighting for the top spot. Gilliland had it for the opening laps. Dylan Bassett was able to drive by and once again clears the 16. 44 looking strong, but again, a third of the way through the race now. You've got to save those tires.
Yeah, I'm really looking at the lap times here right now, Dave. Start paying attention to what kind of pace they're setting, and then with about 30 to go, are they able to pick up the pace? Who's able to pick it up and who's able to actually end up running slower than what they're running right now?
Saw just a few races ago at the Berlin Raceway in Michigan, an abrasive surface where they had the one set of tires as well. It didn't seem quite as active there as maybe it is here tonight. So the drivers, you know, wanting to race, wanting to gain positions while they can, but they've got to be conscious of how much to give up.
I think that lack of banking that we have here is different than Berlin. Berlin's got some banking. You're able to really pass a little bit easier at Berlin. So I think here, track position is a little more important. You're not seeing anybody just going to fall to the back. They're going to try to stay in the top 5 here, and they realize that's going to be their chance to win this race.
17 is Chase Purdy, just starting his senior year of high school. That started a couple of weeks ago. A lot of that happening around the Southeast and across the nation. And Dominique Van Wieringen, she is an engineering student at UNC Charlotte. Just got finished up with her internship at Joe Gibbs Racing this summer. Back behind the wheel. Derek?
Guys, it's a one-off deal for Dominique Van Wieringen. The Rhett Jones Racing team brought her in to drive this weekend because Tyler Dipple is racing an ARCA car on dirt at DuQuoin. So they brought her in for this one race. She said that she just showed up here for the trophy. She's running in the top 6 right now. She said the car feels really, really good. She's driving it with an eggshell under the pedal. She said she's only giving it about 20% throttle down the straightaway. So it really gives you an idea of how much these drivers are conserving out there.
Well, and you keep in mind, there's not a lot of straightaway either, Dave. I mean, it's just short little racetrack right here, so you really are having to be very easy on your gas pedal, getting off the corner, not wanting to spin the tires, making sure you're just smooth, using all the racetrack, going all the way up to the wall. Just be easy on the steering wheel, everything easy.
Derek mentioned the egg under the gas pedal there. Is there anything you used to encourage your drivers with when they had to be in conserve mode?
I never really talked about an egg, but certainly, you know, really the biggest thing was backing the corner entry up real early, just letting it float into the corner, not grinding on that right front real hard on entry.
Dylan Bassett in the black 44, you saw him leave the left side of the picture there, so he's gotten away from this group. Second place, 16 of Gilliland. Third place, Colin Cabry. Fourth, there's the 12 of Harrison Burton, and then rounding out the top 5, Chase Purdy.
Yeah, Dylan Bassett has been setting a big pace out front there. I mean, it's interesting again. I mean, I understand he's got a really good race car, but to be that far ahead of Todd Gilliland right now, I just don't know. I question that.
Well, it's almost like one of these fuel runs we see sometimes in the upper divisions where the crew chief just has to almost yell at the driver, no, slower yet, right? Is it hard sometimes to get through to the drivers?
Hey, you know, a driver knows what he's got. I mean, he's the one that's feeling that race car and stuff, so I'm sure he's coming back onto his crew chief and saying, hey, listen, I'm not spinning the tires. I'm really just going easy here. You know, I'm running at 80%. That's all well and good, but, you know, when it comes time to go with 25, 30 laps to go, you better still make sure you're able to go 100%, because if everybody else is running 60% right now and you're running 80%, well, then all of a sudden they're going to leapfrog you at the end.
Good look again at the 30 of Dominique Van Wieringen, 22 years old, from Ontario. And the Canadian had such a great run at the end of her season last year. All of her top fives, Frank, were at the end of the season. It's like something, you know, a light switch flipped, and she kind of got it at, you know, after the first 2/3 of her rookie season.
Well, really, Dave, she had it early. She had the speed in the first half of the year, but to your point, she got the finishes finally late in the year. You know, she realized not to overdrive it in a few situations. Maybe when somebody got there for position, she didn't quite race them quite as hard and get herself in a difficult situation, and brought home the best the car was going to bring home on that night. Early in the year, if she had a winning car, she tried to make sure she won with it instead of settling for second sometimes.
Harrison Burton now trying to get around the outside pole sitter. At the 2 of Colin Cabry. I can't remember if I mentioned or not. They had a carburetor problem in practice, so it was sort of unknown what they would do in qualifying, and then Colin went out there and almost got the pole.
And you know, it's funny, they may have been trying to make some carburetor adjustments. I mean, I remember back at Oxford Plains Speedway, a place that you didn't have any grip off the corner, we would actually unhook the secondaries to where you didn't have to worry about that eggshell under the gas pedal quite as much.
All right, define it. Unhook the secondaries.
Well, you've got four ports on a carburetor. You've got the main 2 and then the secondary ports. And as you get up on the throttle off the corner, the secondaries start to kick in. So you can either unhook them to where they don't kick in at all, or you can delay the kick in on secondaries.
So put you in a situation where you don't spin those rear tires and wear them out before it's time.
Absolutely.
So Burton continues on that high line, did not get the position over Cabry. Now Chase Purdy, learning what he can do with the championship leader. Purdy tested here a couple of weeks ago, said it was not a good test. Came away more with what we don't want to do versus what we do want to do. So they've come back tonight hoping for a little better program, and right now running in the top 5, not bad for the 17 driver.
And keep in mind, Dave, even though they're not team cars, so to speak, the 17 of Chase Purdy and the 16 of Todd Gilliland, they really are teammates, because David Gilliland Racing runs the umbrella of the 17 car. The 16 is under Bill McAnally Racing. But when they're here on the East Coast, they actually run out of David Gilliland Racing's shops.
And that's such an advantage for young Purdy, who is in his first year in this series. And, of course, last year's champion in the West, Todd Gilliland, an experienced youngster. How about we call him that?
Yeah, and he's in a heck of a point battle right now in the West Series. He's leading the West, but he's, I think, 3 or 4 points ahead of Chris Eggleston out there.
5 now, yep.
5, and then he's, 4 back here?
Yep.
So he is, he's got his work cut out for him this year with the championship pressure.
And mentioned that yesterday he was at the Truck Series race in Canada, so definitely getting his frequent flyer miles is Todd Gilliland. Flying out front, Dylan Bassett. He's got quite a lead on the field right now. The question still remaining as you get to the halfway point here, is he saving enough on those Goodyear Racing Eagles to race for the win at the end of today's action?
Now let me say this, with his few cars in the field right here, if we don't get a caution, Dylan Bassett may be in the catbird seat.
Big lead right now. Gilliland not letting him out of his sights. Nice to see the K&N Pro Series back at the Langley Speedway in Hampton, Virginia. After a year's hiatus, Derek told us a story at the beginning of how the track almost went away, but the owners got it back and got the K&N Pro Series back as well. Pole sitter Todd Gilliland had a great start, but then was passed by Dylan Bassett.
Yeah, Dylan Bassett's been the aggressor today. He's been out front most of the day.
And we mentioned 150 laps, 1 set of tires. Down near the end, will Dylan have used too much of the 44's rubber, or will he be able to hold off the 16 and the rest of the field?
I can't imagine Harrison Burton likes the situation he's in right here, Dave. When these guys get all single file below him, he's got him on the outside, he's going to lose way too many positions right here this late in the race.
Dominique down in the 30 car in the black number 30. There's Burton on the outside in the 12 car. And behind them, Ronnie Bassett looking for a way through. The driver who qualified 8th today is from Mexico. His name is Ruben Garcia Jr. Let's learn some more about him.
Hello, I'm Ruben Garcia Jr., driver of the number 6 Toyota Camry for the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East. I started racing when I was 4 in Mexico, go-kart racing. I did that for a while. And then when I turned 16, I made my first full-time season on the NASCAR Toyota Series. And then in 2015, finally won my first championship in a NASCAR division. For me, it was a big step to move outside my country, to start racing in the United States, where I would like to keep up moving my career into the NASCAR ladder. My goal in this series right now is to finally get a checker flag. This year we've been really, really close. I would like to finish in the top 3 in points, which it's kind of close from the 3rd to the 7th place in the championship. I'm Ruben Garcia Jr., and that's your NASCAR Next Gen profile.
Garcia's 5th right now in the championship, and not too far behind Bassett and Purdy in 4th and 3rd. He's got to watch out for Chase Cabry behind him, though, trying to get that spot.
He's already had 8 top 10s this year, so it's been a pretty solid season for him.
Solid for Dylan Bassett in the 44 so far tonight, but he's got that pressure coming now from Todd Gilliland.
Yeah, and Todd Gilliland has just slowly made his way. We haven't had a caution here, Dave. Remember, we've gone green since lap 45 here. That was the last caution. And Dylan Bassett had stretched it out, but Todd Gilliland has drove to the front now, caught Dylan Bassett, and just made the pass.
With a little bit of contact on the door there. Remember, these two were not too happy with each other following the South Boston races earlier this year, and Todd saying, thank you very much, I'll just take the lead right here.
They have definitely decided to start stepping it up the pace right here. Chase Purdy, you see him coming also in the 17, which is the teammate to Todd Gilliland. He's starting to put the pressure on Dylan Bassett. We're going to find out right now what Dylan Bassett's got left on his tires, and did he use up too much early. Chase Purdy on the inside.
Good battle down through 3 and 4. Purdy's going to get that spot.
Yeah, they're going by far too easy right here. Dylan Bassett's not letting them go. He's letting them go because his tires are too worn out, Dave.
35 laps remaining now of the 150, and Gilliland has set sail. Here's the question: can the 17 of Purdy, in at least similarly set up equipment, run him down?
Well, if he doesn't, and he stays where he is, that'll be his 5th second-place finish.
I knew you were going to go there, and he'll hate hearing that, of course. But another fantastic run if that's the case.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, you've got to finish second a few times before you can go to get that win.
Here's a driver going to the front on the outside. The 30. Oh, now she drops back. Harrison Burton has that spot. Now Dominique in the 30 is going to look to the inside.
Yeah, Harrison's actually starting to pick up the pace as well. I mean, everybody now, with 50 to go right here, or inside 30, 33 to go, they're all starting to pick the pace up right here. And this is where it's showing that Dylan Bassett used up a little too much stuff early on. But look at him starting to use the bottom of the racetrack.
Trying to find the way that the 44 will still be competitive. And using that bottom, even getting on the apron, seeming to work pretty well. Cabry holding that outside line.
I can tell you one thing about Dylan Bassett. He will not give up. But watch him right get into the corner. You can't see it right there when he's got somebody beside him on the outside with Colin Cabry. But his right rear slips a little bit getting into the corner. You can just tell he's having to use a lot of tire. His tires are really worn.
Defends that position. Oh, here comes Cabry for the crossover. Down the backstretch. Gets his grip off the apron. And now has the inside line himself.
There's no defense for that. What a move.
That was nice. Good job, Colin. Holds on to that. Now Bassett has to wonder if he can get back by and do the same thing here.
I think what he's wondering about right now is, can I hold off the folks coming behind? Harrison Burton, Dominique Van Buren, and his brother, Ronnie Bassett Jr. in the 04.
Yeah, Ronnie may not have shown everything that he's got. Derek told us about the car earlier. It has a win under it. His very first career win at the New Smyrna Speedway to start the season. Then there's this battle, Justin Carroll in the 91. And we heard about Ruben Garcia Jr. just a little while ago. Garcia, by the way, for his part, is running the Mexico Series again this season. So we talked about frequent flyer miles. Well, he's got international frequent flyer miles going.
Are those worth more?
I think in Ruben's mind, yes. Or he'd like to tell the airline so anyway. Interesting that Carroll is in late model competition here again this year, as is his dad. They like to race against each other, and I think at the moment, if I check the points correctly, I think Dad has the upper hand.
Well, the son's done a great job here tonight. You know, these cars are a lot more difficult to drive than what a late model is around this racetrack. So even though he's got the experience at this racetrack, he's now getting the experience in the K&N East car, and he's really done a nice job tonight.
25 laps remaining, so it's almost like a short track Saturday night, although it's a Monday evening. The race moved from Saturday to Monday based on the expectation of persistent showers, sort of the remnants of Hurricane Harvey. As we get a look at the hood of Carroll there, just another driver who's saying, we're behind you, Texas, and we're going to help you get back in shape however we can do it.
We've had a nice crowd here today for it being rescheduled, Dave.
Yeah, I agree with that. We came in, we weren't sure, but they have continued to walk in. Gorgeous afternoon. Derek?
Listening to Harrison Burton talking with the team over the radio, their biggest issue right now is just having overall grip out there on the racetrack and trying to get that forward drive coming off the corner.
That sounds like worn out tires to me, Frank.
It is worn out tires. That's late in the going, 24 to go. His other big issue right now is that he's sitting there realizing that the points are getting a whole lot tighter when that 16 of Todd Gilliland's leading this race and Harrison Burton's hung back here in 5th.
That's right. Under this point system, he gets bonus points for winning the race. If Gilliland does, he gets a bonus point for leading a lap, and then we'll have to see who leads the most by the end. Dylan Bassett piled up a lot of laps led and now gets the bumper from Burton.
That was the chrome horn.
That was indeed 3 wide coming off the corner, and Dominique is going to take advantage.
What a strong move by Dominique right there.
Saw the opportunity, put the 30 through.
And we're not done with the bumpers right here. Harrison Burton still trying to get by the 44.
Side by side, and then side by side behind them, Garcia and Ronnie Bassett. Burton's going to get that spot. Yeah, I don't think Dylan, I just don't think he has enough left in the tank, and by the tank I mean the tires, to fight them off.
No, clearly not.
He's going to get pressure now from the 42 of Beasley, and he goes around.
That didn't help his tires at all.
No. It will bring out the caution late in the going at Langley. Just a little bit. I think all of that bumper damage is from the contact of guys trying to get around and through.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You know, he's holding everybody up that much. His pace is just not where everybody else is right now. It's unfortunate because he's had a really good car today.
Get another look at it here as Beasley, the white car, dives down to the inside.
You can really see, though, Dylan Bassett's really starting to get sideways as he enters the corner. So his right rear has been so worn out that he's really slipping on that right rear. He's already got a little bit of yaw in the car. It didn't take much of a tap.
Another look at it here. Beasley in the 42, Bassett spinning in the 44. Yeah, and Carroll into the back of Beasley there trying to find a place to go.
I mean, obviously that's Jay Beasley's fault right there. You hate to see that for Dylan Bassett. You know, because even though he was holding people up, you still don't want to see somebody get muscled out of the way like that.
And Bassett will head to pit road along with Chase Cabry. And Derek is there.
Dylan Bassett comes in the number 44 machine. The crew is going to assess some of the issues on the car. They're looking at the right side right now to see if there's any kind of tire rub on the outside tires. The car started going away on Dylan Bassett. He said the car was getting very tight from the middle of the center off.
And we notice now changing of the tires. You're not allowed to do that unless you have, as you mentioned, Frank, a puncture or structural damage to the tire that might be manufacturing related, and that is not the case. What is the case is we're getting down to the finish of this race. Come back and see if Gilliland can hold the field off. 14 short laps remaining for Todd Gilliland in the 16 to try to hold off Chase Purdy in the 17, and behind him Colin Cabry and the 30 of Dominique Van Wieringen. See what kind of a jump he gets here at the start on old tires, and it's a good one.
Chase Purdy spun his tires on the outside. He's going to have a hard time getting back to second.
Cabry willing to fill that spot, but now Purdy diving down to the inside with a 17 to take command again of the second position.
Not quite.
Good action throughout the field. You're right. Cabry not giving up, and Dominique looking for a place to go. Almost making it 3 wide off the corner. Sideways for Colin Cabry.
Wow. All the way down the straightaway sideways, Dave.
That was foot in the throttle, right?
Dominique is sideways.
Everybody out of tires and trying to get the final 10 laps done as Gilliland pulls away.
You're not worried about tire conservation right now, are you, Dave?
Not at all. You can see him applying that power coming off the corners, fishtailing the rear ends of those race cars. as now Cabry trying to hold off Dominique and Harrison Burton.
Dominique is very impressive on the outside right here.
And has been all night. She's made a lot of ground up working the outside line.
Yeah, but early on, though, they were just riding. Right now, it's go time, and she's able to do it on the outside. Very impressive.
A lot of bumping and banging through the field. See Cabry trying to make that two-car as wide as he can, both lanes.
He's taking the bottom, the middle, and the top.
That is for third. Harrison Burton trying to get by on the bottom. Dominique trying to get that top three. She's had the end of the season were all top 5 finishes for her. Trying to get another one here.
3 wide. 3 wide, Dave.
A lot of contact now down into the corner. Dominique gets third. Burton trying to take fourth from Cabry.
What an aggressive move there by Dominique.
That's right, and Colin better get back down to the inside and protect that spot. Here comes Ronnie Bassett in the 0-4. Oh, and Burton with a little bit loose off the corner. Cabry fighting back.
This is not going to help Harrison Burton with the points right here. They're lined up on the bottom.
Not missing anything up front. Gilliland is cruising away from the field with Purdy in second and Van Wieringen in third. This is a great battle for fourth.
Hey, Justin Carroll back up here on the outside.
That's right. Got a little something left in the 91. Carroll to the outside of Garcia, the 6 in the 91. Bassett saying, where can I go here? Do I want to try 3 wide? Sort of worked earlier.
Harrison Burton is really in trouble right here. He's got to get down on the bottom.
5 laps to go.
That's another point he just lost on the championship.
That's right, and that is the urgency for Harrison Burton. He sees Todd Gilliland with a chance to retake the lead in this championship, and with every spot he loses, Frank, you are correct. Another point gone.
Another one. Ruben Garcia, he may have a flat tire.
And they don't care right now about his point situation. They're just trying to get to the front.
Yeah, his car is not as good as what Dominique was on the outside. He's not able to do anything right now. You question whether he's got a tire going down.
So he falls in behind Ruben Garcia. Behind him, Beasley and Carroll battle. Carroll, now looks like he's out of tires with 4 to go. Get Bassett making the move on Cabry. Off of turn 2. Good run down the backstretch. Nicely done.
Yeah, Cabry has been very, very loose off the corner right there. Ronnie Bassett Jr. looks like he's done a nice job tonight of keeping his tires under him.
And Todd Gilliland, who has a 5-point lead over Chris Eggleston out west, looking to make the championship lead his own here tonight. He's got that much room over Chase Purdy in second.
Pretty separated right there in the top 3. It's all going to come down to whether Harrison Burton can get back by either Ruben Garcia Jr. or Colin Cabry.
This
and
year,
not lose the spot to Jay Beasley right here.
That's right. Beasley fighting through. Looks like he's going to get that position for Burton as well. Final lap for Todd Gilliland. NASCAR made it possible to run both championships this year, schedule-wise, and Gilliland is taking advantage. At Langley Speedway, Todd Gilliland is going to win again in the K&N East.
Another impressive run for that young man. Really does a great job of knowing, a battle to the line right here. This is a point for Harrison Burton.
It is
Can he beat him?
indeed. Looks like Burton is going to get the nose of the 12 in there and at least save that part of his night. And I'm sure out of breath and frustrated.
Yeah, 7th place is not what they were looking for tonight.
This guy got exactly what he was looking for. Todd Gilliland from the pole wins at Langley. We'll be back to talk to him in Victory Lane. K&N Pro Series Racing on NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems, because everyone loves that fast car smell. Langley Speedway hosted a good one, the 12th of 14 in 2017 for the championship run in the K&N Pro Series East. And the lead has changed at the top thanks to a run by that young man right there who put his car in victory lane again in the K&N East Series. Derek is down in victory lane with Todd Gilliland.
Well, the last 3 winners here at the Langley Speedway went on to win the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East Championship, and Todd Gilliland puts it all together this afternoon. The guy that's running second in the points, who's challenging for that championship, wins tonight here in a race that you dominated. You know, you're winning so much, we're running out of questions to ask you in victory lane.
Man, that's such a good thing. You know, got to thank Napa Auto Parts, Toyota, TRD. you know, every one of these guys behind me, every single race, they give me such fast cars. And something we talked about before the race, you know, they bring such fast cars. And I think the thing is that they're never willing to try something different, and they're always trying to better themselves and get myself better. So I definitely couldn't ask for a better group of guys behind me. Bill McNally, he isn't here tonight, so and I'm sure he's going to hate to miss this one, but you got to say hi to him at home. But you know, thanks to everyone. Like I said, it's been a great night.
At what point in the race did you realize that you could reel back in the 44 Dylan Bassett and get past him?
Well, it's kind of like one of those Days of Thunder things. I wasn't really trying to go any faster, but you know, he was just coming back to me a little bit. And then once I got to him, my guys said, "You just try and go ahead, get past him since you're there right now." And you know, that was a challenge. He's protecting the bottom quite a bit. He moved me into turn 1 in like lap 30, which I don't understand. But yeah, so I had to get back by him there, and you know, it's a tough battle for sure.
This win will more than likely move Todd Gilliland to the point leader here in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East as he gets a hug from his dad, David Gilliland.
I don't think there can be Christmas cards exchanged between Dylan Bassett and Todd Gilliland this year, Dave.
Nope, they are continuing that little rivalry there. Bassett, you see, finished 4th after Gilliland took that win. Just 17 years old. Remember, last year he was the youngest champion in any national or touring series in NASCAR history.
And fortunate for Dylan Bassett, he falls to 13th after having a great run today. But Derek's with a second place.
Well, Chase Purdy comes home with another second place spot here at the Langley Speedway. Continues to run 3rd in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East points. And don't you just love second?
I don't know. I don't know how long I can love it, but no, hats off to those guys. My guys gave me a very fast Textron off-road Bama Buggies Toyota Camry, and just one spot short, man. It's frustrating, but man, we worked hard. When we came here and tested, we were not good at all. In fact, we weren't even a top 10 car. And then, you know, we came here, worked on it, and got us faster. My crew chief Cully, all my guys, they worked really hard, and they worked their butts off for me. So I hope to get in victory lane for them soon, but we'll go on to, I think it's New Jersey, and see if we have one for right turns.
Do you think you may have held back a little too much and could have gone a little harder later in the race?
I don't think so. I mean, I feel like I played my odds pretty fair, and then we had a restart there with 15 to go, and that outside's got so much junk on it that it's just hard to get a good run. Had old tires and just really messed myself up there, but we bounced back to get second, but chasing that 16.
Well, Chase Purdy still has 2 more chances to pick up his very first win in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East this season.
Well, if I can give him a bright spot, Dave, I can remember Harry Gant used to be bridesmaid a lot. They talked about it, and all of a sudden he went out and won 4 straight Cup races. So you never know.
Yep, that'd be good company to be in for sure. There's a championship picture now. It has changed at the top. Burton to 2nd, Gilliland up to 1st. But one driver who's got to be among the happiest of all today is in her first start of the season, Derek.
Well, Dominique Van Wieringen proved to be the super sub this weekend, substituting for Tyler Dipple. She comes home in the 3rd spot, and what a great run for you. Did you realize that you were going to be able to get past some of those drivers because they started slipping and sliding out there?
Yeah, I was really hoping at the end after qualifying 12th. I was really not sure if I'd be able to make it work, but we were fast throughout the entire race, and guys were asking me on the radio, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I am maybe at 10 to 20% throttle, and we are still rolling by these guys. So I figured that I was saving my stuff, that we'd be a contender for the end.
At what point do you get another chance where you can come back and do this again? Because this will probably be your only race so far for this team this year.
Yeah, I really don't know. It's, you know, the matter of money and being able to race, this opportunity is like, you never get that when you're not sitting in a car. All summer working at Joe Gibbs, I was looking at all the cars and going, I can do that. I can go out there and win races just like the rest of these guys. And I'm just hungry to race and hungry to win, but I need someone to give me the opportunity, and I can do it.
Well, guys, she's definitely proved she can do it out there tonight. As long as you provide the equipment, Dominique Van Wieringen can get the job done.
Well, with a night like that, she may get another opportunity shortly, Dave.
Yeah, that's true. Back to school, finishing her final semester, but certainly showing tonight, behind the wheel, she is talented. So there's our next Touring Series race on NBCSN. Check that out. Make sure you check them all out. Fun to see on these short tracks. And the drivers, a lot of them, hoping to find their way into the Xfinity and Monster Energy Cup Series in the future, getting their start here in the K&N Pro Series.
Early it was Dylan Bassett, Here's Todd Gilliland passing him for the lead.
A lot of conservation out there tonight, and then a lot of aggression. Bassett on the wrong end of that. So to match his 6 wins in the West, Todd Gilliland brings home the 4th win of the season in the East and has got both championship leads heading down to the final few races in both. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. Todd Gilliland in victory lane again.